लाल की जय, राधा रानी की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बरहापीठं नटवरवपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारम् बिभ्रदवासः कनककपिशम् वैजयन्तीं च मालाम् रन्ध्रान्धेनु रथर्सुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दै वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद्गीतकीर्ति। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वैवेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तत्त्वं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रिय साधक समुदाय, दिव्यात्मो महानुभाव, dearest spiritual aspirants, devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone. And my pranam and humblest prostrations to all of you. Again, before we begin today's talk, we'll join Bhajan Kirtan, page 60. This beautiful bhajan written by this kirtan by Jagat Gurutam Kripalu Mahaprabhu talks about the Guru. I sacrifice myself on the lotus feet of the Guru. I offer everything I have, my body, my mind, my wealth, everything onto the Guru. I place the dust of the lotus feet of the Guru on my head. No one can describe the greatness of the spiritual master, the Guru. Guru is Shri Krishna himself. Shri Krishna is Guru. There's no difference between Guru and Bhagavan. Guru wants the happiness of Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna wants Guru's happiness. By the grace of Guru, the grace of God, we are able to find the true Guru. And by the grace of Guru, we are able to attain God. Shri Krishna wants pure heart, pure mind. He wants pure souls. Guru loves the sinners, the fallen souls like us. This is the difference, the main difference between Guru and Bhagwan, etc. Guru Charan Kamal Balihar Guru Paratan Man Dhanwa Guru Charan Guru Siddha Guru Mahima Aparampa Sadguru Bhaji Nand Kumar Hari Bhaji Sadguru Sarkar श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। आप सावधान हो जाइए। Just try to be very attentive now. Listen carefully. We have been in the search for happiness, the true happiness. We have been expounded in listening to the explanation of one of the verses from Radha Govind Geet. This is told, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu wrote many divine books for the benefit of the world. One of those books, Radha Govind Geet, containing 11,111 dohas, couplets, containing all the divine philosophy of all the Vedic scriptures, Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharata, Gita, Ramayana, etc. And all the pastimes of Radha, Krishna, the gopis, the cowboys. One of the verse, Ati Durlabh Tinom Govind Radhe, Nar Tanu Shradha Guru Sharan Bata, that in the search for happiness, three things are most important, compulsory. And they are extremely difficult to attain. Extremely rare and difficult. But without these three, we cannot attain the ultimate goal of true happiness. So number one, Nar Tanu, the human body. It is so rare and difficult that even Devatas, celestial gods, are praying and begging for birth in the human form. Number two, Shraddha, Mukshutva, faith, a yearning, a longing for God. This is also extremely difficult. Lots of people attend in church, masjid, mandir, gurudwara, but majority of them are praying to God for a while. Very few want God, because they have yet to acquire the knowledge that the happiness we are looking for we'll find only in God, only in Sri Krishna, because Sri Krishna is happiness. Another name for God in the Vedas and other scriptures is Anand, bliss, happiness, Sukh. And we being Jivatma, the soul, Atma, and the soul being an eternal fraction of Sri Krishna, it's our nature to want only happiness. But because of ignorance, agyan, ignorance. What ignorance? We have forgotten who we are. Bhul gaye कि मैं आत्मा हूँ. We have forgotten that we are the soul, Atma. From beginningless time, we've identified with the physical body, material body. And this is why, in spite of having, or being, in spite of searching from uncountable lifetime for this happiness, we have not found even the tiniest drop, even in dream. Because we have been looking in the wrong place, where it cannot be found in the material world. First, the knowledge has to come that I am the Atma, the soul. And secondly, someone has to be able to convince us. That decision has become very firmly embedded in the mind. To find happiness in the world. If I don't find it today, I'll find it tomorrow, but I will find it. In a new house, a new car, handsome boy, beautiful girl, big bank balance, etc., etc. To change that decision is not only extremely difficult, impossible for the worldly soul. Only when we come in the association of a true saint, the true Guru, and associate in the right way, with faith and reverence, accepting that he is a saint, and he alone knows what's good for me, that knowledge will come. Then we will go in the right direction. Somebody wants to go from Washington to New York and starts going south in the southern direction. He'll never reach. He happens to reach a job. Everybody's telling him, go this way, go that way. And then he happens to meet someone, and the person asks, where are you going? I'm going to New York, but you're going in the wrong direction. Really? Yeah, you have to turn around and go north. And if he believes, has faith in what that person is saying, he'll turn around and he'll go in the right direction. So there's a problem. As I mentioned, the reason for that ignorance, having forgotten who we are, is something called Maya. The power. There's a power called Maya, a power of God. Yesterday I went in detail. Maya is not an illusion, as the Gyanis say. All the Vedas, all the scriptures are telling us, all the saints, that Maya is a power that belongs to God. Shri Krishna himself says in Gita, Mama Maya, Meri Maya is my power. Chapter 7, verse 14, Gita. That's divine power, Devi. So, that power. And because it's a power that belongs to Shri Krishna says, only the one who completely surrenders to me, Mameva ye prapadyante, only that person can become free from Maya. Only when Shri Krishna will tell Maya to do. So can we surrender directly to Shri Krishna? And we found out yesterday, no. Why? Because we cannot experience Shri Krishna, God, in any way. Every instrument we have in our possession for knowing, grasping, our senses, our mind, our intellect, it is all material. Maya. Go char jaha lagi man jai, so sab maya jane hu bhai. It's all Maya, material. It's a product of Maya. The senses, the mind, the intellect. And God is beyond Maya. God cannot be experienced by our material senses, mind, and intellect. Then we thought, let's go to the scriptures, the Vedas, the Puranas, etc. But here also we were told, to understand the scriptures, we have to have divine mind, divine intellect. These are divine words. If we were to try to read the scriptures with our material mind and intellect, we'll give a material meaning. And this is what happened. Thousands and thousands of people have written translation of Gita, etc. How many people know what's written in Gita? How many Arjuna are there? We cannot just take the dictionary and translate. There are so many different words for God. This one example in the Vedas. At one place God is called Akash. Akash means space. At one place God is called Purush in the Vedas. Purush means man. At one place God is called Agni. Agni means fire. At one place God is called Devta. Devta means celestial being, Annamaya. So if we take a dictionary and translate, we'll make a mess. And this is what has happened. So we read by ourselves, we get confused. And there's not only one scripture, there are many, and all are different. Tulsidas ji says, Shruti Purana Bahu Kahe Upai, Chutahi na adhik urjai. If you would, there's so much contradictions and complications in one scripture that if you were to read on our own, instead of our doubts getting removed, we'll become more confused. You'll become an atheist. So, then we found that we have to go to someone. There's someone we have to go to first before we can go to God. And that person is called the saint, Mahapurush, Guru, spiritual master. in order to acquire knowledge of God. Rahoga naita tapasa nayati nache jaya nirvapana grihadva na chandasa nay vajaragni suryai bina mahat padar jo bhishekam. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 5th canto, 12th chapter, 12th verse. There was a great Paramhans, self-realized soul by the name of Bharat. This katha is in the 5th canto of Bhagavad Mahapuran. He ruled the whole world for 10 million years. 1 crore. He's the eldest son of Rishabh Bhagwan. Rishabh Bhagwan had 100 sons. The eldest was Bharat. Having ruled the world so long, he gave it to his sons and went in the forest to continue doing devotion. He went to the Gandaki Nadi. There's a river called the Gandaki Nadi. It's in what we call Nepal today. And there was an ashram there where the rishis and munis stayed. One day while sitting on the bank of the Gandaki Nadi and doing his sadhana, a pregnant deer came to that river to drink water. While the deer was drinking the water, a lion roared. And the deer got so scared, to save her life, she tried jumping over the river. When she jumped, the baby that was in the womb fell out. She had a miscarriage. Fell in the water. The deer ran away from there. The mother went in some cave where, due to the exertion and the miscarriage, she died. Now the baby is drowning in the water. The baby deer. Jal Bharat saw the whole thing. He dove into the water, took out the baby deer, resuscitated it, and started taking care of the baby deer. He got attached to the deer. He's Paramhans, self-realized. Many people say, who don't understand, they foolishly say, self-realization is God realization. People don't understand anything. They read something in some book somebody writes and they start believing. Big fight. I told you yesterday, there are two kinds of Maya. Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya. One who gets rid of Avidya Maya. Rajogun, Tamogun. He realizes I am the soul, Atma. Atma Gyan. It's called self-realization. That happiness acquired by that person, nothing in the world can compare. He goes in Samadhi. But there's another Maya. Vidya Maya, Sattu Guni Maya. So, Bharat had crossed Avidya Maya. But Vidya Maya, he got attached. The baby deer, I told you, Vidya Maya, the world. He got attached. That Jnani falls. He got attached to the deer. And when he was about to die, knowing that he was going to die, he called the disciples in the ashram and told them to bring the deer. He loved the deer so much. They brought the deer and he started playing and fondling the deer and said, I love this deer so much. I'm about to leave. Please take care of her. And he died with the deer mind attached to the deer. And what happened? I told you yesterday. When the life leaves the body, whatever we remember that moment, that's what we're going to go, where we're going to become in the next life. And what we're going to remember, wherever our mind is attached, what we love. So his mind was attached to the deer. Paramhans, self-realized. And yet, Vidya Maya, the deer, he got attached and had to become a deer in the next life. This Katha is there in Bhagavad Mahapuran, 5th canto, read it. But he retained all the knowledge from the past life, even in the body of a deer. He was Paramahansa. So even very small, he abandoned the family of deers. Mommy, Papa, everybody. And he went back to the same ashram. And there he ate only the remainders, the sage, rishis and munis, avashisht, uchisht. It's very important. Gauram Mahaprabhu says, Bhakt Pada Jal, Bhakt Pada Dhuri, Bhakt Avashish, Tin Mahabal. The water that washes the lotus feet of a true saint, the true Guru, Padajal, the dust of the lotus feet of the saint, and whatever he has eaten and left, Uchisht, Jutan, anything he has worn, clothes, etc., anything he has touched or she has touched, this is all Mahaprasad. And it's of great help to a sadhak, one practicing bhakti. This is why if you have the opportunity to get prasadi from the saint, run and take it. It's of great help. So he would only eat the leftovers eaten by the rishis and munis in the ashram. Very quickly he gave up the body of the deer. Next life he was born in the home of Brahman. He was already God, he attained God realization. Now he was Brahma Gyan. Now Maya couldn't touch him anymore. But remember what had happened in the past life. He didn't want to be attached to the world anymore. So he pretended to be extremely stupid. That's how he got the name Jar Bharat. He attained God realization. But he pretended to be the most foolish. The true saint, a true devotee hides himself. Gopaniyam, 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 Pratnata. Anybody boasting about, I am such a great devotee, run far from them. Bhago. A true saint hides himself. Doesn't want anyone to know. When God and the saints come in the world, they hide themselves. You have to have special grace. Only when they shower their grace, then you will understand. Or no, otherwise nobody will. So the family, thinking that he was extremely stupid, they abandoned him. Threw him out of the home. He kept roaming like an idiot that nobody will know. He doesn't identify, a true saint doesn't identify with the body anymore. Whether you call him most stupid, no effect. You can give the highest praise or abuse in the worst way. It has no effect. There was a king by the name of Rahugan, and he was going to meet the true Guru. Now, he had his servants take him in a palanquin. They were all carrying him in this very beautiful palanquin. And suddenly one got sick. So they needed an extra person. So Rahugan said, find somebody, and then they saw Bharat. Jar Bharat. Very strong, very powerful. But he looked like an idiot. Very dirty, didn't bathe or anything. He didn't care. It's gone beyond Maya. So they said, there's a very strong fellow. He looks kind of foolish, but he looks very strong. So the king said, bring him. So they brought Jan Bharat and told him, this is the king and you have to help carry the palanquin, put it in his shoulder. So Bharat didn't care. He came. But because he was absorbed in the love of God, he kept walking like a drunken person, intoxicated in the love of Sri Krishna. So the palanquin kept going like this everywhere. And the king is going like this and the second. And he got so angry. Hey! What's happening? Oh Maharaj, this guy we got. He's drunk, he's intoxicated. So the king started to scold Bharat in the worst way. Who are you? Don't you know who I am? Etc. Bharatji then gave a long lecture. Who am I? What are you asking about, the body or the soul? Atma. And the king realized the mistake he had made. He fell at the feet of Bharat and accepted him as his guru. He made Jan Bharat his guru. And here Bharatji is saying, that shloka I just said from Bhagavad Mahapuran, 5th canto, 12th chapter, 12 verse. Neither through tapasya, austerities, nor through yajna, havan, etc., nor through varnashram dharma, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihasti, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, etc., nor through the recitation of Ved mantras, nor someone can be practicing austerities under the water, or sitting with the 5 fires blazing around him in the midday sun, in the height of summer. Can one become free from Maya unless he bathes himself with the dust of the lotus feet of a true saint, a true Guru? Surrenders to the lotus feet of the Guru. Only Guru can take us across Maya. Bharatji, Jar Bharat is teaching this verse I just said. So Guru, as I mentioned yesterday, Bhagwan bane ke saathi hai. God wants, He accepts only pure souls, those who have gone beyond Maya. Whereas Guru, we just sang in the thing, the difference between Guru and Bhagwan, Guru accepts sinners, fallen souls like us. As I mentioned, God is a condition for knowing Him. Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. Only those who are pure in heart, pure mind. God is saying, only those can know me, see me, attain me. I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. And who is going to make the heart, the mind pure? As I mentioned yesterday, we can't do it. Uncountable lifetimes of God. If we could have done it, forget about one God realization, we'd have attained uncountable. Bhagwan is not going to do it. He says, you make it, He only wants pure soul. So Bhagwan says, don't worry. For that reason, I send my Jan. I send my saints. That work of making the heart, the mind pure, only Guru does. The saint, the true Guru. This is why, as far as that is concerned, Guru is told to be greater than even Bhagavan. Nobody can be greater than Bhagavan. God and the saint is one. And the saint worships Bhagavan as his master. But because of the work of making the heart, the mind pure, which only Guru does, the saint does, he's told to be greater than Bhagavan. More man Prabhu as Vishwasa, Ram te adhik Ram kardasa. Ustadji say in the Ramayana. Kabir says, Guru Govind do khare kake laghu pai. My Guru, true Guru, and Shri Krishna standing before me, God. Whose puja should I do first? Who should I worship? Bhagwan. No. Balihari Guru Apano Jin Govind Diyo Lakhai. I worship, I bow first to Guru because he is the one who gives Shri Krishna to me. Radhe Radhe Govind Govind हरि साथी बने का है गोविंद राधे वो बने बने के साथी God only accepts pure souls who's beyond Maya. And Guru वो साथी बिगड़े का है. He loves those who are under Maya, the sinful souls. He fixes all their problems. वो बिगड़ी बनाते हैं. He is the one who's going to make the vessel, make the heart, the mind pure. Jagat Guru Tab Kripalu Mahaprabhu is saying in Radha Govind Geet. Tusidas says, Guru binu bhavanidhi tarai na koi jo biranchi shankar sam hoi. Someone will be as powerful as Brahma, the creator, as powerful as Shiva, the destroyer, but he will not be able to cross the ocean of Maya without Guru. Guru is so important. We cannot read the scriptures and understand what is there. We don't get knowledge by reading. When we meet a true saint, a true Guru, and take shelter in him, then we get knowledge. That's why it says, Guru binu hoi ki gyan. Guru gives knowledge. Binu satsanga viveka na hoi. Or Ram kripa binu sulabha soi. Only when we associate with the Guru, a true saint, saint, Guru, associate. When we associate in the right way with the true Guru, we'll acquire true knowledge. And only when God will shower His grace, we'll get that association. Thousands of places. Look, even in the world, we did not learn ABC by ourselves. the alphabet, A, B, C, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha. Somebody had to teach us. That person could have been a mommy, a mother, father, brother, sister, neighbor, a teacher. But somebody had to teach us. When we need a teacher to understand a simple thing like the alphabet, then how can we learn about divine God on our own? That's why we need Guru. But we cannot make anybody, just anyone, Guru. He has to be qualified. The Vedas are telling us, the scriptures are telling us we have to have a Guru if we want to go on the spiritual path. If we want. Not everybody wants to. But Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanu nirveda mayan nastakritikatena tad vigyanartham sagurumeva bhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtham. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kan, 12th mantra. The Vedas are saying we have to have a Guru in order to become free from Maya, in order to attain the ultimate aim of supreme happiness that we're looking for. But there are two things that qualify him to be Guru. Number one, Shrotriyam. Number two, Brahmanishtham. Shrotriya means he has knowledge of all the scriptures. Not only Gita, not only Ramayana, not only Bhagavad, all the Vedas, all the scriptures. Complete knowledge. And not only knowledge of the scripture, he is able to make us understand. Yahi kamal hai. Anybody can read any book and give lecture like me. But to make somebody understand, this is different. So that is Shrotriya. Brahmanishtham, one who has attained God. He's attained the divine vision. He's seen God. The divine knowledge, divine bliss. Everything. This exact translation of this Ved mantra is given in Bhagavad Mahapurana. Tasmad Guru Papadeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam Shabde Parijanishnatam Brahmam Upashamashrayam. Bhagavad Mahapurana, 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 21st verse. One of the 9 Yogeshwars, on being questioned by Videhanini, Prabhupada Maharaj is saying to Videhanini, we have to have a Guru, but he has to be qualified. The same thing with this exact translation. Shabde Parijanishnatam. He has thorough, complete knowledge of the Vedas, all the scriptures. Brahman Upashamashrayam. He has practical experience of God. The same thing Shri Krishna is saying in Gita. Tad virpranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshati te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Chapter 4, verse 34, Gita. Shri Krishna is telling us who is Guru. He says two things. Jnaninaha plus tattvadarshinaha. Jnaninaha is Shrotriya. Complete knowledge of all the scriptures, plus he is able to remove our doubts. He is able to make us understand. And Tattva-darshina, he has seen Krishna. He has attained a divine vision, divine bliss, divine love of God. If we are so fortunate to meet such a person, the true Guru, what to do? Shri Krishna says, Tatvir pranipatena. Number one, completely surrender to him. Pranipatena. Completely surrender. Number two, pariprashnena. Ask question, acquire true knowledge from him. Ask question with an inquisitive mind, not a doubting one. And number three, sevaya. knowing Him to be Shri Krishna, Radha Krishna personified, do His seva, serve Him. He will give you Shri Krishna. He will give you divine knowledge. Look, someone has to have something to be able to give it to us. If He Himself is a beggar, then what can He give us? वो खुद भिखारी है, तो क्या देंगे हमको? हम भी भिखारी. Can a beggar give another beggar anything? He Himself is on the Maya. He's in darkness, ignorance. Then how can He free us from Maya? How can He give us divine bliss, divine knowledge? Gumrauti iti guru, ginati jnana iti guru, girati ajnana iti guru. Three definitions for the word guru. Gu means andhakar, darkness, ignorance, greed, arga, jealousy, hatred, lust, maya, in other words. And ru means roshni, light. Not the light of the bulb, divine light. Divine bliss, divine knowledge. In other words, Bhagavan. One who can take away Maya from us, free us from Maya, Gu, and give us Ru, Bhagavan, He is Guru. Only He can be Guru. When you yourself is in jail, how can you free somebody from jail? Huh? When you yourself are the Maya, then how can you take others, take someone out of Maya? That's why, yes, we have to have Guru, but don't make us anybody Guru. We have to find a qualified person, the true Guru. Unfortunately, in this age of Kali, majority of people, we make worldly people Guru, who are on the Maya just like us. Avidyaya mantare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana jamghanyamana paryanti mudha andhe naivanyamana yathandha. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kand, 8th mantra. The Vedas say, people who just read the scriptures, they may be very knowledgeable in the world, PhD, but they misinterpret the scripture. They give a material meaning. They are fools, mudha. And people who go to them and make them guru is a case of blind leading the blind. When we make worldly people guru, he is going to hell and he is taking us to hell also. Now, I must say, Ved is saying, all the worldly person can do is take us to hell. The worldly person who is pretending to be guru. We have to be very careful. So, we have to have guru. If we want to attain the true happiness, to become free from Maya, but in our search for a guru, how are we going to tell that he has attained God-realization? That he has attained that divine knowledge, divine bliss, divine vision of God? This is extremely difficult. Why? We will hear. We'll do another bhajan first. So page 74. Hey Radharani, how can I live without you? Where can I go? Who can I ask in this world, material world? In terms of finding true happiness, where else can I go? जिया नहीं जाए अब तुम बिनु राधे, कहाँ जाऊं कासों कहूं तू ही बता दे। तू तो सच्चित आनंद धन राधे, तो ही जाने माने पाए कैसे बता दे। माया ने भुलाया मेरा दासत्व राधे, So, we found out that we have to have Guru in the spiritual path. If we want to progress spiritually, in order to become free from Maya, that we never have to come back in the material world and rotate in 8.4 million forms of life, to be thrown into so many types of hell, etc., then we need a Guru. But he has to be qualified, Shrotriya Brahmanishta Mahapurush, theoretical man plus practical man. And in the two, the second one is even more important. In other words, if someone is illiterate, never went to school, doesn't know to read or write, but he's attained God realization, he has practical experience of God, he's seen God, attained the divine knowledge, divine bliss, etc. of God, we can accept such a person as Guru. Why? Yasmin gyate sarvidam gyatam bhavati. Wait. When someone attains God realization, everything that Sri Krishna has, he gives. Infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, divine vision, everything. So, how are we going to tell? In our search for a true Guru, true spiritual master, if he is Shrotriya Brahmanish, the true Guru, genuine saint, it's very difficult. Why? Because there are four kinds of people in the world. In this world, there are four kinds of people. There are two kinds of material souls. Those are Namaya. And there are two kinds of saints. Those who've gone beyond Maya. Who is the first kind of worldly soul? In this four, who are the first kind of worldly soul? These people, they are worldly on the inside and worldly on the outside. They have all the faults inside of them. Greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust, selfishness, everything. And they make no attempt to hide from the world. What is inside? Same inside, same outside. We people fall in this category. Most of us. We are worldly on the inside, worldly on the outside. We are bad on the inside, bad on the outside. So it's very easy to recognize the first kind of worldly person. The second kind of worldly person are those who are bad, worldly, materialistic on the inside. They have all the faults inside of them: greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, lust, selfishness, but pretend to be God men on the outside. Guru. They are very careful to hide their worldliness from the world behind the traditional signs of a Guru, God man. Long beard, long hair, no beard, no hair, yellow clothes, all different kind of clothes, all kinds, lots of mala, garlands around the neck, all kinds of marks on the forehead. Outwardly, they appear to be God, yet there's nothing godly about it. They're very good actors. You may curse and criticize, they pretend not to be affected. They have learned how to speak in a certain way. They get trained. There are certain schools that train you how to speak. That how to impress people. Nowadays there's a big thing, people make millions of dollars. Just speaking. The way how you can speak is a big thing now on social media. Just to be able to speak in a certain way that people will fall at your feet. So it's very difficult to recognize the second kind of imposter or worldly person who pretends to be a saint. Because as I said, they're very good actors. They're very careful to hide their faults behind the outward signs of spiritual men, God men. In the same way, there are two kinds of divine saint, true guru, true saint, true God man. The first kind of divine saint, true guru, are those who are the same on the inside as well as outside. They are divine on the inside and make no pretense to be worldly on the outside. They are always absorbed in the bliss of divine love of God on the inside, and outwardly they remain like that. But very few saints, it will be easy to recognize such saint, divine inside, divine outside. But very few saints in our history has been of the first type. Majority, 99.99% of saints have been of the second type. Who are those? These saints, they are divine on the inside. They are always absorbed in divine love for God. Yet, outwardly, act in such a manner and pretend in such a way to make us think that they are even more worldly than us. It is very difficult to recognize the second kind of saint who pretends to be worldly because he is very careful to hide his divine love for God behind a veil of worldliness. Gopaniyam, gopaniyam, gopaniyam prayatnata. When God and the saints, even Bhagavan, even God comes in the world, they hide themselves. They don't go around saying, I am God. Or I am a saint. This is why Sri Krishna says in Gita, Avajananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. Chapter 9 verse 11 Gita. Unaware that I am divine, Sri Krishna is saying, that I am God, I am divine, my divine nature, ignorant human beings under Maya, we people, we mistake him to be an ordinary worldly person just like us. That's why we don't benefit. Look, we have met uncountable saints in our uncountable past lifetime. We have seen God uncountable time. When he is descended in the world of Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, etc., we were there. Many times people tend to, think, oh, if only I was there when the Lord came as Sri Krishna, when he came as Sri Ram, Gaurang Mahaprabhu. Oh, why I wasn't there? I would have fallen unconscious with bliss. We were there. Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi Prabhu murati dekhi tina taisi. When we meet divine entities, God and the saints, how we are on the inside, we judge them the same way. It gets reflected like a mirror. What we are on the inside, we see them the same way. We are governed by three modes of Maya, I told you. Tribhir gunamaya bhave devi sarvavidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya Paramavyayam chapter 7, verse 13, 1-3, Gita. Shri Krishna is saying, deluded by the three modes of Maya, the whole world cannot know me, divine God, who is beyond Maya, the three modes of Maya. So we judge. If we have a tamasic nature, I have very bad thoughts in my mind all the time. I'm thinking only worldly, dirty, rotten things all the time. Gandhi baatein. And I meet a saint or Bhagavan. Oh, very bad man. Very bad. I don't like him. If you're Rajasic nature, we like money, power, position, and we meet God or a saint. I know he likes money. Money guru. If I'm a sattvic nature, I have good thoughts and I meet God or a saint, acha, good man. Better than me, but good, that's all. And God and the saints are beyond Maya. They are beyond Sattva Gun. That's why we don't benefit. We judge just like how we are on the inside. Don't think you're going to meet a saint and fall on at his feet. Uncountable saints we have met. We fall at the feet of worldly people just like us. You see, when we meet somebody and we like them too much, oh, I love this fella. I love him. Oh, he's a guru because he's just like me. He's just like me. I'm on the Maya, he's on the Maya. Huh? This is what happens. And we end up, as I said, blind leading the blind. We go to those whom we like, we are attracted to. There's a saying in the world, birds of a feather flock together. We like the company of those who are just like us. Alcoholics, they like associating with alcoholics. Sensual men, sensual people love the company of sensual people. If somebody is love cricket and he meets another person who loves cricket, jai ho! Huh? And that's what happens. When saints come in the world, what do? Read history. Whenever saints have come in the world, Tulsidas, Surdas, Meera, Tukaram, Nanak, Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Jagat Gurutam, Kripalu Mahaprabhu, so many saints we have heard about. What did we do? We curse, criticize, abuse, give them a bad name, propaganda, beat them, throw them in jail. What we did not do. Read history. Today we worship the Ramayana of Tulsidas. We love Ramayana. When Tulsidas wrote the Ramayana, how many attempts were made to destroy the Ramayana of Tulsidas and kill Tulsidas also? By whom? The Pandits of Kashi. What we call Varanasi today. It's written, this is history. Huh? And today we make a living reading that same Ramayana. Huh? This happens when the saints come. Mirabai. Today we sing her bhajans. Huh? And not strangers, her own in-laws. What did they do? Because she was dancing for Krishna, she became kalank on the family. Huh? A bad spot in the family. Let's get rid of her. What did they do? They put poison in a container and sent it to her saying it was nectar. She drank it. They put a poisonous snake in a basket and sent it telling her it was a garland for the Lord. She put her hand, didn't even take inside the basket, it became a garland. Eventually, fed up, she just merged into the Murti of Sri Krishna. One day. Every saint has come in the world. This is what happens. And in spite of all the things we do against them, they didn't give up. They continued in their effort, no matter how much we insulted and abused and give them a bad name. They continued in their effort to uplift us. Because if they didn't, nobody would go to Bhagwan. Because as I said, God's condition, Nirmala mana jana so mohi pava. Only those who are pure in heart, pure mind, can come to me. And it's only the saint who can do that. We cannot do it. So all the abuse and everything we have done, they continue. Because there's no way ignorant, we are foolish. We take our 2 little cent, 2 paise, 2 cents of our mind and try to judge divine saints. So, in this way, it is extremely difficult to recognize the second kind of worldly impostor, worldly person, the impostor who pretends to be a godman behind the garbs of a saint. Lots in this age of Kali. So many Gurujis roaming all over the place, so called. It's very difficult. As well as the divine saint, who is divine on the inside yet pretends to be worldly on the outside. When saints come in the world, they do everything like us. They get married, they have children. Look at history. All the saints, Vashish, all the saints we hear about in history, they had family, they had everything. This what we see of saint being sannyasi, this only started in Kali. Before they had everything. Yet there was no attachment. Outwardly they appear to be worldly just like us. Come in the world, eat, drink, family, children, everything. People would always ask, I've heard people ask, Jagat Guru Tam Kripalu Mahaprabhu, the top, the supreme Acharya, he got married and he had children. Woo. So Sri Krishna didn't get married. You worship Sri Krishna? Yes, I do. And he got married to how many ladies? 16,108. And with every wife, 10 children. Ooh. And they also had a whole city by himself. Huh? You think people didn't judge Sri Krishna also? When he came as Ram, he got married to Ma Sita. And she also had children, Love and Kush. Where did they come from? Did they fall from the sky? They came from the womb. So the true saint. This is the thing about saint. God and the saint, they have a special power called Yog Maya. I'm trying to be brief here, but it's important to understand this. How can God and the saint come in the world and be divine on the inside? Have no desire, no lust, no anger, no greed, nothing. And pretend to be worldly on the outside. How? God and the saints have a special power. God is the governor of that power, and that power governs the saints. What is that power? Yog Maya. Not Maya, Yog Maya. Yog plus Maya. Kartum akartum manyatha kartum samartha. Wait. This is the most special power of Sri Krishna. His most intimate power. Antaranga Shakti is called. That power that makes the impossible possible. Sri Krishna is the governor of Yog Maya, and Yog Maya governs the saints. Neither God nor the saint does anything. It is Yog Maya. Something seems to be happening but is not happening. It's not happening. But for us, you guarantee it happened. This is called Yog Maya. Don't try to understand. This Yog Maya is no ordinary thing. Saraswati, Brihaspati can't understand this thing called Yog Maya. Are Maya they can't understand. You can understand Yog Maya. So through the power of Yog Maya, God and the saints can perform the work of Maya. They have no anger, but perform work of anger. Durvasa Muni is a great saint. Shri Krishna made him his guru. Everyone was scared. Shri Krishna made him his guru. And Durvasa, always angry. He said, they have no greed, but can be seen perform an action of greed. No lust, they perform an action of lust. Prahlad, little boy attained God, Bhagwan came for him, Nrsimha Bhagwan. And then told him to rule for 1 month, 1 cut. 306,720,000 years rule. He also got married. He had children. The son, where the son came from? From the womb of the mother. Then Prahlad must be just like me. Because when we perform action of lust, we have lust. We can't understand the stage where someone can perform action of lust and yet have no lust. God and the saints. That's why we never benefit. So this power is very important to understand. Yog Maya. Yog plus Maya. God and the saints. So, it's very difficult. Because I said, especially the person who is materialistic, worldly on the inside, faith, and pretends to be guru, Godman on the outside, and the true saint, who is saint, divine on the inside, and yet pretends to be worldly on the outside. And yet, we have to recognize. How are we going to do that? We'll hear some about that tomorrow. Bole Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Radha Rani ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai